I'm really happy to share this. I was it came to me during the time when I was working here at Parks Canada, and we were starting to get involved. Like with kids. When they come in, and we not only share like what you see on the floor here, or stories of whatever they see, but then so some I started like brainstorming, and then um, there was so much going on in my head, and when I went home, and to sleep, it was just like my brain woke up, and just like this story started coming, and then somebody told me, next time when you fall asleep, put pen and paper under your pillow. So I did. Yeah. And then that's how I came up with this story, how the Loon, Moon, and Wolf came to be. So it goes like this. Long, long time ago, the Inuvialuit roamed the land. Days were long, it is dark, especially during the winter months. The land was bare, and all you can hear is the wind whistling every now and then. Whoosh, whoosh. And this is Ulugak. She's an elder that lived with us. She lived 100 years old, and I grew up. She lived with my sister and my uncle, Garrett and Olga. Yeah, so she used to speak straight Inuvialuit, and I didn't really know, a lot what she used to say. But so this is Ulugak. There was an old woman named Ulugak. She is a shaman woman. She has 2 grandchildren, a boy and a girl. The girl's name is Mamiok. She is 5 years old, and the boy's name is Nehekiok, who is 6 years old. They live alone because in those days people were scared of shamans. So Ulugak is with her grandchild Mamiok. One day Ulugak felt that she was getting tired and it was getting harder for her to look after her grandchildren. She called her grandchildren to sit beside her to speak to them. She said, "Soon I will be leaving you. I am getting older and it is getting harder for me to look after you. But don't worry, I will call on Kegnak to help me." Nehekiok and Mamiok were sad. Ulugak sings to her grandchildren, calling out to Kegnak, "Kegnak, I am getting old. I need your help right now." When they sing, sometimes, they would just either hymn, but, like they call out to them in Inuvialuit. And so when summer comes, Nehekiok and Mamiok told their grandmother that they did not want to leave her. They did not want to stay if she goes. Ulugak told them, "When summer comes, you will see a loon swimming alone in a lake. You will hear the loon singing, calling out to you, 'Ooh, ooh.' That loon will remind you of me every time you see it." So this is the lake. Yeah. So this is old man Kegnak. This is a person from long time ago. Like long ago, we weren't really told, to mention even, like shaman people, or, like we knew, but at the same time we're always scared, and but really they weren't bad, they were, I'm pretty sure they had those powers because, of see where the animals are. Yes. So Kegnak. Now Kegnak is also a shaman who had strong powers. Ulugak sings to her grandchildren, calling out to Kegnak, "I am old. I need your help right now." That night Kegnak heard and appeared to Ulugak and said, "You must ask your grandchildren what they want to be before you leave, and I will help them. When that time comes, it is very important that your grandchildren not see me. If they do, they will never see you again." So when when they do their powers, like nobody can't really see what they do. People knew it, but then they just don't talk about it too, because there's a purpose for that long ago. It really it helped them survive too. Yeah. hmm So season passes, and Ulugak knew that she will be leaving her grandchildren. She asked Nehekyok and Mamiok, "What do you want to be?" So she asked them, like what they want to be, because I think they were both, at that age, where they know that they're gonna go, and they asked them because Kegnak had the power, so she's asking them what they want to be. Nehekyok said, "Grandmother," or in Inuvialuit, he would say Nanak, "Grandmother, I want to be like a wolf." And so there's a wolf there, picture of the wolf there. And then Mamiok said, "I want to become the moon." Yeah. Yeah, so this is the part where Kegnak makes them fall into a deep sleep. Ulugak said, "Close your eyes and never open them until I tell you to open them. If you open your eyes, you will never see me. And if you want to see me, you must never open them." So they're in that process where they fall into like a deep sleep. Yeah, just so they don't see what's happening. And in back then too, they did a lot of drum dance too. And so this part, there was that drum dance. So this is where he started the, with the drum, because long ago when they do things, they use the drum a lot. Yeah. So once their eyes were closed, Kegnak appears and performs a song and drum dance around Nehekyok and Mamiok until light turned to darkness. So they dance at a time where like it's not in the day, like because it's quiet, and they do their things, like quiet, and so that's what happened there. Never forget the loon, remember? Yeah. Kegnak left, and Ulugak told them to open their eyes. She said, "Tonight I will be gone. Something will happen to you when I leave, and you will something will happen to you when I leave, and you will never be the same again." So there's the two pictures of the loon. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, darkness. Ulugak was gone. So as soon as Ulugak was gone, it's like everything went black. Mamiok and Nehekyok started to cry because they were alone, and it was very dark. So everything just got dark. Yeah. Something is happening. Then something started to happen. All of a sudden, Mamiok started to glow, slowly lighting up the night sky. She was being lifted up towards the night sky, calling to her brother. "Nehekyok, Nehekyok," hollered back to his sister, crying, "What is happening?" Yeah. So something's happening to Mamiok. A thick dark cloud covered the moon. Nehekyok ran and ran until he realized he was changing to a wolf. Yeah. And here's the picture of the wolf. Nehekyok, he thought to himself, "I am all alone. Mamiok is gone." When it was dark, like she left, and so he was sad. But he didn't realize that he was already a wolf. This is the part of Mamiok. The night was very quiet until the moon came out, beaming brightly like it was very proud to light up the night sky. While the moon was out, there was sound howling like a wolf. "Oh, oh, oh, oh." Then appeared on a lake was the loon, singing as happy as can be. It was Ulagak singing to the moon and wolf.
Wow.
And this is Ulagak. When she sees, like the moon is out and the wolf is out, and then so Ulagak, she was just so happy. She starts singing, Ayuija, Ayuija, Ayang, Ayang, Ayaya, Ayaya. And so remember your wish. That is what you have become. You will never be sad because you will always see each other. I will always be there with you, and you will always hear me singing. Wolf howled even louder. Oh, oh, oh. So that is how the loon, moon, and wolf came to be. Like long ago, I remember growing up, like we knew, like we hear, about this person like that or that person like that. And, but I think elders made us scared, I think, just so that maybe we don't talk about it or, like, because it seemed like, I don't know, maybe they thought that it might take away their, not doing it or...
might be like taboo or maybe a little bit of bad
yeah.
to be talking about those things.
Yeah, and it wasn't all bad. Like, like I think they scared us just so that we don't talk about it or don't bother them, But I remember growing up and, like when Tommy, we used to, pile up and I remember seeing old man Kegna, I think I really enjoyed being around elders, because Sadie Sukayalak, you know, I was living with my sister, but at that time I didn't know she was my sister, and I didn't know Garrett was my uncle, because when you're taken, at 6, to residential school, like you really forget like who you are. Sometimes I used to be like amangak, or like kaki dialect, that I remember hearing that word kaki dialect, and it means nothing in the head. And it just like I used to wonder to myself, who am I? I used to be so confused, because I never see my parents. My sister, my only sister Phoebe, like she was my only sister in the world, And then, but I knew about my brothers, but just like you forget about them after a while, like you see them every now and then, but
You're
you,
a child,
yeah,
yeah. There's a reason why it's important to have your family close when you're
so
small.
yeah, so that's how come, like, and especially those, like when we have a big family, and I probably already mentioned it that, so I had to go to my sister Olga's, or I had to go to my auntie Dautuk's, Sam and Dautuk, and then, like when we, like run around, like with kids, and remember going into Tommy's house, and, we used to be really scared, because I remember seeing Kaknak, like with his smoke, and he's so quiet, and, and then we used to run out and, get scared, but I think elders used to always tell us, shh, you're not supposed to talk like, like that, I don't know how come we couldn't talk about them. I don't know, but we used to think that, it was so scary, but it really isn't. I think it's just something that that they had even from long ago. It was just like their way of seeing where the animals are, where the good hunting, places, or like especially, like especially when there's hard times. I remember, even with the seal, or caribou, and I remember they said he turned to a little boy, and then he went out, and then come back with or tell some people, you can go this way or that way, and So in some ways, I think that is a reason why they had people like that long ago. I don't know how old I was, but then I think just being really close, like when we were kids, like we were never scared of being with Tommy, because just because like we hear stories, but then I think we were more scared of what's her name? His Nana. I think she was more scarier than Kegna, but Kaukdo. Yeah. I think she was really strict, and she was really protective. I think, of family, of because it was like if somebody did something to Tommy, she would be right out there, or like I think that must have been her only. Is it her grandchild, or I don't know. I think she was really protective. I remember, yeah, but we used to run. I remember we used to run around when it get dark. We used to go running around, and then once in a while we would get scolding. Like it's not time to run around. And then I remember they even used to tell us that those little people might grab you from out there. Don't go so far. And we used to don't really, think of what they say or what they mean, but then some of them used to scare some of them when they talk like that. But us, we used to run around and just like hide. And yeah, even in the wintertime, it's like we weren't bored, honestly, when you think about it. Just by listening to stories from the elders. I also put together a when new people come to Paulatuk, I have like it's like a walk that we do, like from the time of in the early 1900s to almost like today. And I should have brought it. I have it's like this, but it's from the first time and then to all the way to today. And it's a walk that we start at the grotto, and then we go to that shack there. When new people come, like I ask them, like that time we needed some money for the church. I always tell them, like, even put $20 in the church account. We have a church account, and it's a walk that I take them from, starting from long ago in the early 1900s, and then we do a walk, and then it's like a walk from one end to the other, and then we'll tell the stories like of areas. Yeah, when there's new nurses, or when they RCMP, or if they have time. But and with teachers, yeah, especially with teachers. I don't know what like the school, like the BDEC, they have a group. When new teachers come, they used to bring them, put a tent up in the hill up there, and then they would do their orientation up there.
Yeah. Do you have any other childhood memories of Paulatuk, like what her mannerisms, what she looked like?
She was like an elderly woman, like with, I think she always had like a handkerchief, and I think she had like a white hair, and she always wore like a dress, but like with I don't know if it was pants inside, or with the thick brown tights and gaugoks on. Yeah, we never really talked to her. I remember when we were kids, we used to run around a lot, but as soon as we see her, like we knew already, like what kind of person she is, and we don't ever want to get her mad or like bother her. But we just knew, and I think we had to learn respect right away, because they didn't want anything to happen to us too. Like we could get sick, or they out of nowhere. I don't know what they do, but when you don't bother them, yeah, yeah. But did I tell you that one of my dreams I had that I don't know if it was Kagnak. I was in my dream. I was on my back, and somebody was sitting over me where my arms were blocked, like they were sitting right over me, and I think Tommy's mom was there, and Kagnak, I think, and from under the tongue, they were trying to take from under their tongue and to put it in my mouth in my dream. So in my dream, I'm going, I never opened my mouth. I think if I opened my mouth, they probably would have tried. I think they were trying to give me their, what they could do. But I don't know, for some reason, I'm going like, because I knew, I saw right away who it was. And so I really fought to keep my mouth closed. It was just like passing it on, like kind of thingy, but I was so glad that I didn't. Cause,
That's what my
yeah.
mom said.
Yeah.
You guys should talk.
I know, it's like we have too big of a heart, to try to, to, even if you don't like somebody, like do something to them. I just can't. I'm not one of those type of people. Yeah. But at the same time, I think we were lucky to have been brought up with our elders. I think us were the last generation like that with the elders, where they really, sharing their history with us, telling their stories, and because long ago too, we couldn't really talk about stuff like that, when it was all happening, and I think it was like the respect to not make them known same time, kind of in some way, but I think it's because we they like but I think just knowing, like what they did and how they lived and what they had to do in certain times, when you need somebody like that was really like helpful, I think, during hard times. Right now it seems like we don't really hear, like I'm an elder now, and so it's like we're not really talking, to our grandkids, about stories like that. Today it's like it's just like new. It's like whatever I carry. It's probably like with my daughter Tracy's age, Melanie, but more Tracy. So it just seemed like it stopped there, but I don't know, like, because I used to wonder, like, the talk that we're talking today, it just seemed more like worry things now today, like, it's not this, to me, it doesn't seem the same as, like, how we were taught, like, from elders. And then what kind of talk are we talking to young people, or like, we really need to do it. It seemed like it's like they're on their own kind of thing, it seemed like they're in their own little bubbles, like it's like the way computers, the phone, the cell phones, yeah. I think it seemed like that's the route that it's going, it just makes you wonder, like, they're like, they're like this, and then, when I went to the school, for example, and I did an oral health talk. I talked to them about oral health, but it just seemed like they didn't seem like present, like, it's almost like you gotta be really, like, you gotta be really engaging with them, like, to really get them. So instead of just talking about teeth, so I I did it in a way where I put them in teams, like, playing that Family Feud, game. I used it that way with them, to try to get them engaged instead of just standing there talking to them, blah, 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 this and that. And so I had to really brainstorm and really try find a way of how I could get them engaged. And so, and they're really competitive too, boys especially. Yeah, so I had to split up some of them, that were really like, yeah. So, yeah, so that's one way that I do stuff with them. Like to a non-Aboriginal person, like they're just excited, but to us, it's like the excitement doesn't seem like, like as how outsiders would get excited and, learn even one little word, but I think, we really need to come up with ways of like, getting engaging them somehow where they could be like the piece of like a, like putting a puzzle together, for example, but just in a way where you really got to catch their attention somehow. It's almost like you have to interview young people nowadays, like what's your plan? Like, what are you motivated to do? Like, because that's how we were, like we were asked, like, like, so what do you want to see in the future? I don't know. Like, like, I mean, it's not like we were like that, but we really had to brainstorm, it was getting darker. And then all of a sudden, like, a cloud started coming down. And then all of a sudden, like, we happened to look towards that hill, and there was a long, like like a black shadow. Like, we thought, yeah, boy, hey, look at that person standing over there. Like, maybe they broke down, and that thing that was standing up there, it looked like it was, just out looking around like that. And then all of a sudden, when it saw us, it just like it got jumped, just like because we were all standing there, and and when you look at something like that, and all of a sudden you just like don't know what to do. It looked like he got scared, and then don't know what to do, and all of a sudden from standing on top the hill, just like he turned to just like flat, like a flat black thing, just slithering down that hill, right like that. Like how you see black cellophane? It was just like that, just slithered down that hill. And then all of a sudden, caribou. It turned to caribou, and it just don't know where to run, and they just took off that way. And we're going like, did you guys just see what happened there? Like we're just flabbergasted because it's the first time we ever experienced something like that we never ever thought that we would ever see, but that was really something. We were just like dumbfounded, like because we never ever thought we would ever see something like that. We didn't even know how to talk about it, like we are just like like um
Wow.
yeah, I think we were so dumbfounded that we really didn't know what to say. But at this, I think though we we knew about that because Hank knew more about it because it bothered his dad a lot. If you talk to Hank has a lot of stories about that. I only had two stories. That one was that when we first saw that, and one was when we were at our camp. Um, there was a point in our lives too where, like when residential schools started, people started talking about residential school, and then I was at that point too where like just it was I think it was starting to begin to be too much, and especially when you have your own story inside that it just want to burst out like that. And then alcohol was one that really took over a lot of I know a good part of me too. um whereas like I saw a lot of it growing up like that. and then and today I know why my mom drank and because I wrote her story, and I know that falling into that road to with alcohol, and then to a point where when we were at our camp and drinking driving, and Hank and my brother Chris came back with the bike, and they left me our new one, and I was, as soon as I went out, like I was good inside, but when I went out, and when that wind hit, it's just like all of a sudden, just like you get more disoriented, and then I remember though climbing on the bike, but I think that wind hit me that I just I don't remember when we like where our camp was on Rat Lake, and Rat Lake is it's flat, and so I was riding the bike, and then there's a turn, that turn where you go down, where you go down that bank, yeah, and so I remember turning down that bank, and then all of a sudden I think I must have turned too fast, and I I found myself laying flat on the side of that bank. I must have crashed or something. Um, and laying there, I felt like somebody, like when you're flat and then somebody comes across you and then just grabs you like that. Like he grabbed me like that and just lifted me like that and put me back on my bike. And then, from going on my bike, like I lost my runners. Like I had duffels on, but that was something that I sometimes I didn't want to tell nobody, like how I got to town, and because I think I was scared too, because I was intoxicated too and driving like that, and then but with that happening to me, I didn't know how to share with anybody about that. But then when I remember people started, telling stories about that black shadow, and it's not all bad stories about that person. That person it helped me. But honestly, it's first time I'm sharing it with somebody like that, because that kind of saved me. And then from there, it was like I never drank ever again, because I think I got so scared too. Yeah, and but there is a lot of um, stories about that. So anytime I drive that way now, like in the summer when I drove by, with the ATV, I always take a drive by myself, and then I stop by where they found them, bones, and ever since they found them bones and that, it's just like we don't really hear anymore about that black shadow. So um, I asked Hank, where did they put that person's remains, and then it's right on that flat. So anytime I drive by there, I put a like a cigarette, or you put tea. They say tea or tobacco. I don't smoke, but then I took a couple of Hank smokes and I put them in that by his grave area, that person's grave, because that black shadow is not only there to be bad. It helped people for sure. Like, yeah. hmm I think we were in some ways like, even though we went through like some hardship, and watching and seeing, being there, like how our elders, you know why they are today. I mean, why how they were then, and like with I think we were really lucky to have some, experience with them, because I remember even as a kid, like we, traveling with them, it's like they have so much knowledge. And then, that knowledge passed on to like us. I think we were really the last ones that received all that knowledge, and like we're not supposed to keep them. Like, we're supposed to be talking with young people about it, which with my job as a community health representative today, like I like to go to the school and like I did a talk with them about residential school. I got Fred Bennett, I got my mom Mabel to talk about the earlier times, and then I got myself and Ray to talk about our time. So the kids, they had both experiences of what we went through, and why people are the way they are today, and why some are so angry and why some don't want to talk, and those.
It's good to understand the community, even
Yeah.
when you're young, to have some sort of knowledge of how to engage with your community going forward. I really, really respect that.
And
That's really good work.
when I did that program, I wasn't expecting to hear anything from Fred Bennett, but he cried at the same time. Though he said thank you. He said it was just like the first time he ever had that chance to release it. And I was really worried about how the kids are, how they're gonna be like, when they see like, somebody talking and then all of a sudden seeing an older person cry, you know. And that was the same with my mom, like I just couldn't believe how awesome they were. Like just they just sat there and they just, like it just got so quiet. But at the same time, it was just like, even my mom now today, like she's so lively and just so like, it was like a first time release for them. There was myself and my husband Hank. We had that opportunity to travel to Yellowknife, and there was this program called Return to Spirit. It has nothing to do with religion, nothing to do with anything like that, but it was just about our how we are inside of like here and here. And then it was an awesome program. It really helped the both of us. And Annie Kudlak was there with myself and Hank from here. And one of the ways, I'm just going to share a little bit about it. So one of the things that we had to do was we had to do a lot of things. We had to write journal. And then the best one though was it was a third day where like when we came to the room, there was like two chairs in facing each other, and it was like that, two here and then two over there, and then but we're all sitting in this one area. So we had to pick up somebody who's non-Aboriginal and then talk with them. So we would come to a chair and then face each other. I talk, that person listen. When I'm done, that person talk and I listen. When I first started doing that, it was all about me, me, me. It was like my story. When they talk, I didn't even hear what they said. Like it was, and then go back, pick another person, and then sit down, talk. I think by the fourth or fifth person, I was so talked out. And my story from being so big, it was starting to get, shorter and shorter. And all of a sudden to a point where it was like, you're listening. Wow, you could hear. It was just like by the eighth person, honestly, it was just like I had a big cut here, and it was just doing this. Honestly, to tell you the truth, it was just like I had a big cut here, and it was so warm feeling, and I was just like, wow. And my story got really short though, and then I was more like to that person, but I was so content. Like I was just, it was a 2-year program. and I was just wishing that they had it today yet, but it was really hard because they needed to find more non-Aboriginal people to participate. Yeah. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Hey,
Mm-hmm.
you think you would have enough?
Yeah. But there was Hank and myself and Annie Kudluk. We had that opportunity um to get it all out. Like today, it's like it's not in here. It's not in here. It's just like there's nothing. I have absolutely like know nothing about residential school anymore. It's like it's
Because you're dealing with it.
yeah. You're not carrying anything. You're not talking about it. You're not
living your day to day to try to
yeah.
avoid the subject.
Mm-hmm.
You're living with it.
Yeah. That's how come. That's how come when I went to the school. That's how come I used it here with and that really helped Fred and my mom. Yeah, I haven't done it. Um, I felt like I'll leave it, because I don't want to push. You never know. How somebody else might. You don't know what they would do afterwards. So and Ray was there too. Is so helpful. Yeah.
Ray's really
Mm-hmm.
in touch with our community.
Yeah. I just love being around elders. Like with with what's her name? Sukayalak. Yeah,
Sadie.
yeah, Sadie Sukayalak. I remember, being with her, but she only spoke Inuvialuit, and so I didn't know what she was saying, but just listening to her and just you know she couldn't really. I didn't know how to I couldn't understand her, but then only way I knew was when she say she's hungry or like she. And then I used to don't know what to give to her, so I remember just big tray of everything: coffee, tea, water, milk, and then cookies. All kinds. It was just with everything. When I give it to her, I remember I was really small and big, and I put it in front of her. She looked at me. She just really smiled, and but yeah, I think it was just growing up with all them elders and and then like with all what you go through and then all of a sudden it's just like stories start um coming. And somebody told me, you know what you should do, sleep with a pen and paper under your pillow. So I did, and then out of nowhere, like it's just like my brain woke up just like that, and then took that pen and paper, and it was really going like, and then so I'm writing, and then after a while, and then I stop, put it back under. It was like that for I don't know how many days.